When people say, and I know we've started to touch on this, but I just want to bring it home. So when people say, why not just reduce demand, substitute materials, and just recycle more? What part of that argument do you agree with? And where does it run into the limits of time scale and physics that we've started to get into?
So I actually agree with parts of that. So
Yeah.
we should absolutely reduce wasteful consumption. I mean, and we as consumers have the power to be more mindful and thoughtful about the decisions we make, the use of resources we make. Simple decisions, like, do I need to drive here instead of taking public transport? Do I need to ask a bazillion questions to AI? Do I need to save this many photos? Simple questions like that. But a lot of future demand, when we say reduce demand, most of that demand will come from developing countries trying to improve the quality of life. And that's an ethical question, right? It is difficult to tell them, hey, you should stop developing. But so it's kind of a balance. Then substitution is important too. Like, let's find a replacement. But many of these minerals work across different applications. So not only most substitutions take years to develop, commercialize, and scale, assuming that the market will adopt them, but also they might not work for all the applications. So, and many of those are not true replacements, right? It might be just kind of an additional solution. So this is a portfolio challenge, and there is not just one solution this material is going to fix it all.
Yeah.
So it is a moving force of a huge established supply chain that needs to be transforming.
Yeah, I appreciate the framing because it avoids turning us into a false choice between recycling and new supply. I say this literally on the show all the time, but it is an and, not an or. We need all of it. We need it and both both of these things, and a lot of different technologies, a lot of different solutions. And I think sometimes people just look for that magic bullet, like thing that's just this perfect solution, and it just doesn't exist. Maybe it will one day, but we've got to start where we are today. So I think that's really, really important.